I think we're ready to begin, so if y'all would like to come around, have a seat, or take your shoes off and go for a run. Good morning. My name is Steve Phillips. I'm the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. It's so nice to see you all here today. I'm very pleased to see all you here for this wonderful new event. Today we're here to celebrate several new park amenities here at Fred Cone Park. The new track and the new field event areas such as the shot put, long jump, high jump, discus throw, and javelin throw areas. Back behind you'll see 4 new basketball courts. We have a new outdoor restroom in this direction. We also have picnic tables and facilities in the shady part of the park. These wonderful new park features that were supported by and paid out of the Wild Spaces Public Places half-cent sales tax. So thank you all for voting on that. I'd first like to recognize the dignitaries who are present. Thank you all for being here today. Here with me are the speakers, Mayor Craig Lowe, District 1 Commissioner Sherwin Henry, and Park Advocates Dr. Thomas Hawkins and Davis Rimbert. So let's give them a nice round of applause. Now I'm going to look out in the crowd to make sure I see everybody. With us, we also have Mayor Pro Tem Thomas Hawkins and Commissioner Susan Botchert. And also Commissioner-elect Yvonne Henson-Rawls. So let's give them a nice round of applause. I'd also like to recognize my bosses who help support us in these efforts. Russ Blackburn, where's Mr. Blackburn? Here's Russ in the front row. And Assistant City Managers Paul Folkers and Fred Murray. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Many of you know that we've had a wonderful new partnership with the Alachua County District placed, and by doing so we placed a modular building in the park this last fall, which is located next to our recreation center. And plans are moving ahead to construct a new permanent library building directly north of the track over here. So today, representing the library district is Executive Director Shani Livingston. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Thank you, Shani. I'd also like to recognize some of the people that are in this district that use this park and are very supportive of us. And I see Rosa Williams and Doris Edwards are here. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Also from our Public Rec and Parks Board today is Gina Van Blocklin and Dave Miller. Is there any other board members here? Thank you all. And I'd especially like to recognize one of our administrative service directors, Becky Roundtree, who holds all the purse strings. And we're so glad that you're here today, Becky. Let's give her a nice round of applause. This morning when I got here, there was at least 10 or 15 people walking and running the track, which is so nice to see. We have many, many people in the neighborhood and the community that are using this park. We've been getting phone calls left and right from all of the track groups and the user groups that want to do this, and we're very excited about the enthusiasm and the use of this park will be. Many of those people are here today, so thank you all for being here. And also, I can't go too much further without recognizing my staff. My staff are the ones that do the day-to-day operations and help get everything organized and set up for these events and the daily operational needs. Anytime there's an issue or concern or a suggestion, my staff are the first people to get it, and they take care of it for us. So let's give them a nice round of applause for Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs staff. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce to you today our mayor of the city of Gainesville, Mayor Craig Lowe. Let's give him a nice round of applause, please.
Thank you, Steve. Good morning. And welcome to the official opening of the wonderful new amenities at Fred Cone Park. It's really exciting to be here today. It's an exciting time to be in Gainesville. But today we'll cut the ribbon on one of the premier recreational facilities across the entire city, and actually in the county. That's right, this park isn't just for one part of the city, it's a resource meant to provide for and unite the entire city. We're here today to celebrate, to recognize, and to thank some key people who led the charge to make this dream a reality. For example, you'll be hearing from Dr. Thomas Hawkins, who chaired the East Side Park Development Committee in 1999, and whose purpose was to develop a recreational facility in East Gainesville. And he will recognize the many citizens that contributed their time, their talent, and their money over the years to bring us where we are today. Fred Cone Park is a 96-acre parcel of land, of which 18 acres were donated by the Cone family in 1992. Mr. Cone, by the way, was a former mayor-commissioner in Gainesville from 1944 to 1945 and 1951 to 1952. And I would like to thank that family, and especially his son and his daughter-in-law, Tommy and Colleen Cone. On behalf of our entire city, thank you for your family's generous donation. And right now, we're in a new area of the park, but the first phase of development of this park began in the late 1990s on a much smaller scale. As you can see, our community's vision for what this property could become began to grow, and the results are right here in front of us, actually right under me. Phase 2 of Cone Park would not have been possible without the support of you, the voters, who passed a half-cent sales tax for parks, recreation, and cultural affairs in 2008. Thank you for your support of your city's parks. I would also like to thank the team who built these new facilities. First, the City Purchasing Department and the City Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs staff who led this effort. Alita Cozart, Patty Jo Davis, and John Weber. Next is the architect and engineering firm, who also functioned as the project manager, Billy Brame of Brame Architects, right here in Gainesville. Thank you. The engineering and design firm that designed this expansion, Cassell, Hewitt, and Walpole, from here, right here in Gainesville. Representing them today is Gina Goodyear. Thanks so much. Coming in on time and under budget is the contractor, R.E. Arnold Construction of Archer. Thank you, Ronnie Arnold. And the team that will care for the park and keep it clean and safe for use is our staff with the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Department, led by Steve Phillips. Thank you, Steve, and your entire department. Again, it's a great time to be here in Gainesville, and it's a privilege to be here with you today to recognize the completion of this phase of Cone Park. Thank you, and enjoy your park.
Thank you, Mayor Lowe. I did not, as the guest speaker or whatever, there's always people that you miss in the crowd, and I just noticed that Charlie Wise from the school board is here. Thank you, Charlie, for being here. Appreciate it. We're going to be working closely with you in regard to the use of this track, so we're very excited about that. It's now my honor to introduce to you our District 1 City Commissioner, Sherwin Henry. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Thank you, Steve. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Wouldn't you agree? Well, good morning, everyone. To my fellow commissioners who are here, the special guests, as well as the residents of this fine community. It is a pleasure for me to be here at this ribbon cutting of the newest and most unique public recreational facility located right here in East Gainesville. I want to thank everyone who had the vision to create Phase 1 of this park many years ago. There are many citizens involved, and as said, Dr. Hawkins will be recognizing them momentarily. When I was elected, I made the development of Phase 2 of this park one of my top priorities. Recently, I shared with my constituents that this was one of my proudest contributions as the District 1 Commissioner. The track adds an entirely new recreational dimension and experience for the citizens of Gainesville. Few citizens ever have the chance to access a rubberized track because of school, college, and or university usage and restrictions. And that was really part of the brain thrust behind developing this track, because there was such a demand. And we felt that we had the acreage, and Dr. Hawkins approached me, Thomas as well, as the City Commission, and what better place to have it but right here at Cone Park. Having the track open to the public 7 days a week is a very unique opportunity for our citizens. We're very proud of its completion. If you haven't yet stepped on the track, of course, wearing the appropriate footwear, I might add, wait until you feel the softness and how good it feels. This surface will provide a welcome and a mostly painless experience walking or running for all ages. Adding the track and field facilities, the new outdoor restrooms as was shared, the new basketball courts almost completes this beautiful community park. And the reason that they said almost is because I envision the water pad over there. I envision seeing the library north of here as well. And we just really have a canvas to just continue to paint and bring about recreational amenities. I have visited the site many times over the past months, and never have I been here when it wasn't crowded with people of all ages. Young and old are sharing the track together. It is a wonderful sight to see. We'll see upcoming track stars. We see men, ladies, and children walking for exercise. Kids jumping hurdles and trying the long jump. One Sunday I came out here, and kids were playing in the sand pit of the long jump. So I walked over to them, and I asked them, do you know what this pit is for? And they say, well, it's a sand pit. I say, no, this is the broad jump or the long jump area. I said, do you know what that is? And they say, well, no. And it was about 5 of them, so I asked them to go down and get a running start and jump in the sand. And what did I want to do that for? I stayed out here an hour and a half playing with them because they love jumping into that sand pit there. It is very important for you to leave here knowing that this is your track, this is our track. This is your park. And I say this with purpose. Let us as residents of this community take ownership of this fine facility. We need your help and support to make certain that your park is well taken care of, because we do expect tremendous usage of the park. Please, and don't let me break out in James Brown, please, 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 but please help us keep it well maintained and safe for all to use. Again, this is your park. And if you see that it's not being used in the proper manner, the rules aren't being followed as established by the city, please report any problems to the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs Department, or, if necessary, and hopefully it never will be, the Gainesville Police Department. We want the park and all the unique features to last a long time for all of us to enjoy. As a matter of fact, personally, I've been bringing, my sister and I have been bringing my father out here. He's 87 years old. He's a heart patient, but he also experiences sometimes pains in his leg, and when he walks, that relieves that pain. And we brought him out here, and he loved this track. He's done 2.5, sometimes 3 laps. Now, this is an 87-year-old man, right? So you younger folks are talking about, well, I can't walk or I can't move. I'm sorry. That doesn't hold water anymore. But really, just think about it. For me, I actually live around the corner from here, so this is perfect. And I have no excuse to not get this gut off anymore, you know. In closing, I would like to thank the citizens of Alachua County for voting in favor of the Wild Spaces Public Places Tax Initiative, so we could develop Phase 2 of Cone Park. Really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for understanding the vision and what was needed to continue to make our city one of the best cities in the state of Florida. And I'll continue to work hard on the efforts of the park, funding and renovations for this wonderful park. And I'll work in conjunction with Commissioner-elect Yvonne Henson Rawls. And I want to thank you all for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry. I also noticed that Commissioner Wells just showed up. So let's give Commissioner Wells a nice round of applause. I've been looking over at Dr. Hawkins' shoes. Those are cool, man. I got to figure out where you got those. Next speaker, on behalf of the many citizens who gave their time, effort, and funds to help support the development of this park, please welcome Dr. Thomas Hawkins.
I like them. Well, it's indeed an honor to be here, and it's a day that we've anticipated for many, many years. Because as stated, we started this project back in 1998, which was just a short 14 years ago. The idea was developed initially by Davis and myself because we wanted, having recently retired, to give something back. We're both from East Gainesville, born in Alachua General, and felt that it was time that we show something that is our appreciation for just being in Gainesville. When we started talking, we didn't know where to start. Someone suggested we go talk to Ms. Williams. And so we did. We went over to Sunland Training Center one afternoon and sat down with Mrs. Rosa Williams, and she gave us just a wealth of information, a lot of support and a lot of help, and directed us to Chief Tony Jones. I don't see Tony here now, but he also gave us a lot of wonderful advice about how to proceed and who we might recruit to join our effort. And so we next established a founding board. And I'd like to read the names of the founding board members. Some of them are not with us now. Some have passed on. Some have moved from the community. But the founding board members were Ms. LaKay Banks, Mr. Carl Baskin, Mr. Emery Bishop, Al Daniels, who was our treasurer, Kane Davis, who was our secretary, Jermaine Ferguson, Ms. Evelyn Fox, who is still very, very active on the park board, Coach Mike Holloway from the University of Florida, the #1 SEC and NCAA Coach of the Year, Mr. Thomas Johnson, Chief Tony Jones, Mr. Clarence Mills, who at that time had just recently retired from the Parks Department, and gave us a lot of advice about how to proceed within their system. Jeff Reese, who was with the police department, Davis Rembert, Keith Robinson, Captain Michelle Spencer Curadine, who was with the ROTC unit at the University of Florida, Keith Robinson, James Thomas, Mr. Albert White, formerly with GRU, Ms. Rosa Williams, Ms. Rosa B. Williams, and Devon Woody. So a lot of people contributed a lot of time, a lot of ideas, and like most successful projects, it was a community effort with everybody contributing. With the city, we worked with Mr. Wayne Bowers, who was the city manager at that time, and his assistant, Mr. Carl Harness. Chief of the head of the Parks Department was Cliff Crawford, who had on his able staff Director of Nature Operations, Mr. Steve Phillips. Steve is one of the other people who show continuity and been with the project since its inception. We also approached people in the private sector. I'd like to mention John Carlson, who at that time was chairman of the Gainesville Housing Authority Board. And we called him up. He immediately said, "I'd be happy to meet with you." We told him Davis and I told him what we were looking for and what we wanted to do. And he said, "Well, come meet me at the housing authorities. My board meeting will be over in about an hour and a half, and I'll be glad to talk to you." And so we talked to Mr. Carlson, and he said he would very much like to help. Now, Mr. Carlson was heading the construction management firm of PPI, and they did a great deal to help the project move forward. Other people that helped very, very significantly was Jack Ponigvar and Associates. He did the initial design and did the architectural work on the buildings. And I think he designed us a very, very nice community center. Others that helped, Bob Cohen of Kangaroo's Food Stores, Roy Cassot of Cassot, Hewitt, and Walpole made very wonderful contribution. And so we started. Along the way, as I said, the founding board members, some moved away. We needed additional support, and we were very, very fortunate to recruit Ms. Doris Edwards to help. And Doris is right here in front of us now. Ms. Juanita Miles Hamilton, Coach Rooney Jones, who at that time was coach over at Eastside High School, and Mr. John Alexander from the Reichert House. All made very, very significant contributions. The city commissioners, when we first started the project, and whom we were advised to go speak with, were, and Wayne, when we first talked to Mr. Wayne Bowers, he was enthusiastic, but he said, I can't do anything unless I get my commissioners, direct me in that direction. So we went to talk to Pegeen Hanrahan, Commissioner Ed Jennings Sr., Commissioner Bruce Delaney, Commissioner John Barrow, and Commissioner Paula Delaney. And they were all very enthusiastic and very supportive. On the county side, we went to go speak with County Manager Dick Charlebox, and he was very supportive. He directed us to the chairperson of this county commission, Levita Brown, and also Chuck Clemens, Bob Summers, and Penny Wheat. A lot of these names are very familiar to you, I know, but some of them may be new to you. But they all were wonderful contributors to the process. And when you look at this group and look for the commonality between all the different people, I think that the most prominent thing that stands out is their level of service. These are people who have served the city and the county in many, many different ways. But they love the community and are willing to work for it. And I think that's what makes it such a unique place. People willing to contribute their time and their talents and their monies to the various projects that we have. I was up in the community center a few minutes ago, and I saw a sign on the bulletin board that said what I think parks are largely about. It had 6 pillars of character: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, caring, citizenship, and fairness. And those are the 6 pillars that I think are very important that we want our children to learn. And I think that they will and do out here in a park environment where they work as part of a team, develop a community spirit, and developing understanding and respect for each other. I was out here the other morning, and it was just before the sun had come up. I respected the fact that we couldn't do anything until dawn, and I was here a little bit before dawn. So I was sitting down in one of the chairs by the basketball court reflecting, and looked over toward the woods, and I counted 8 deer that were grazing. And I think that adds a spiritual component to what we have here. This is not just athletic facilities. It's not just a building where we can have different activities, but there's a special feel about this place because with the trees, the flowers that we see along the edge of the wood, the deer and wild turkey that feast on the soccer field and football field. I couldn't help but think that here early in the morning we see nature so abundant, and in a few hours we're going to see crowds of boys and girls and young men and young women out here enjoying the same field. It's almost as if the schedule was already set. But I do thank everyone for all that they have done. It's truly been a team effort. So many people in our community have contributed, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkins.
Well, this particular track is a rubberized track. It's much easier on runners. It allows them to be able to exercise without as much shock and, on their systems and their bodies, and therefore allows them to exercise more regularly.
Number 1, this is a community park. Number 2, the amenities that have been added through the Wild Spaces public places will benefit the residents beyond measure. Health-wise, just a gathering place for the residents of the community to come to. As was said today, the library is going to build their branch here, and we're going to add more recreational amenities to the park. And so there's going to be something here for everyone.
Well, this is an opportunity to showcase Cone Park as a citywide resource. The track, the fields, the community center, and now the library all come together to form a wonderful amenity for all of Gainesville.
Well, yeah, I actually live very close to Cone Park, and especially as I became a commissioner, I was approached concerning my involvement, becoming an advocate for the funding as well, helping with the planning of Phase 2 also, and it's really just been a labor of love, actually. It really has. I just want to encourage the citizens to come out, get some exercise, take advantage of the amenities. We got new basketball courts as well. We renovated the baseball field. But just come out and just experience what Cone Park has to offer. It's a very nice facility, and I'm very proud of it.
I would just like to thank all of the people that came together in this wonderful effort to make Cone Park what it is today, and look forward to seeing more in the future.